Welcome back to my next playthrough series. This time I'm going to be doing the Lord of the Rings deck building game. This is the Fellowship of the Ring. There are 3 different sets of this, and this is the first one. It's a relatively simple deck building game. I do make one adjustment while I play this game. I just find the balance to be better if I make the adjustment. And that is when we defeat the enemies, the big enemies, not the getting other ones from what's called the path here. These just go into a points pool. They don't go into your hand. Because what I found is the abilities on these cards are very powerful, much more powerful than all the regular cards. And if you get one player, if you're playing a 2 or 3 player game, that ends up getting 1 or 2 of these early in the game, then the game kind of degenerates into there's no way you're ever going to catch them. Because the abilities are too powerful. So that's the one variant that I do. And so let's get with it. So I'm going to be playing Pippin. Now I have all 3 of the games, so I just shuffle all of the characters together. I think you get 7 with Fellowship. And basically for Pippin, you get these oversized cards, which really don't do anything, but they just tell you which character you're playing. And it just says you start the game with, I just want to look at it in your deck. Well, that's a special card I get in my deck. It's a deck builder, of course, and I just want to look at it. It's a maneuver card. It's worth +1 power, and when I reveal the top card of the deck, if it has a cost of 0, I get an additional power. So that's what this is, and everybody starts with 6 courage cards, which are just a straight +1 power, and 3 despair cards, which just really don't do much for you. They're just 0 power. And how you win the game is if you look in the bottom left corner of all the cards, the ones you can buy and what have you, they have a value in here. So at the end of the game, you're going to add up all the value of all your cards in the lower left corner and see who has the most points. Oh, I also am doing a bit of a truncated game. If we look at the enemies here, this is always the starter enemy. And it even tells you here, this card starts the game on top of the archenemy deck. Yes, these are arch enemies, not just straight enemy, but they're enemies for the purpose of being a card. Normally you have 3 level 2s, 3 level 3s, and then you're going to end off fighting Lurtz as the final one. For a shorter game, I do 2 level 2s and 2 level 3s. There are 5 cards for each one, and you randomly pick, in the normal game, you randomly pick 3 level 2s, 3 level 3s. In a shorter game, which I'm doing here, you pick 2 level 2s, 2 level 3s. So that's a couple of little adjustments I make to the game. So let's take a look. I'm playing against, and this is a competitive game, so you're not going to be, it's not a cooperative. Playing against King Theoden, and you start the game with Dark have been my dreams in your deck. So we'll look at his special card, and of course his basic cards will be the same. And it gives him +1 power. It's a maneuver card. And it says corruption and despair cards you play or have played this turn have +1 power. So that's really quite a good card, because normally despair cards give you nothing. So this one gives you corruption and despair cards +1 power. Now you can get these corruption cards, which are actually worth negative points at the end of the game through different effects in the game, so not the greatest thing. And a card that you can always buy, of course, is this maneuver card, Valor, +2 power. It's worth a point at the end of the game, and it costs 3 power. So the currency of the game is power. Let's quickly look at the path here. So we have the Moria Orcs. They cost 3. They're worth a point. If you play or have played 1 or more other Moria Orcs cards this turn, +4 power, otherwise +1 power. So if you can get multiples of the same card in your deck and end up playing at the same time, they can multiply pretty well. This is a very expensive card. Boromir, Captain of the White Tower, +4 power, but it costs 6 to buy, worth 2 points at the end of the game. We have the Seeing Stones. It's an artifact. Draw 2 cards, then put a card from your hand on top of your deck. And that's a very useful card to have. And we have a location. When you play this card, leave it in front of you for the rest of the game. So locations will go out in front of you. And ongoing effect at the end of each of your turns, draw an extra card. So instead of drawing 5 cards at the end of your turn, if you have this out in front of you, you're going to be drawing 6. That's powerful, but it costs 7. And lastly, in the lineup right now, we have Elendil, or Elendil, I guess it is. Ally +3 power, and he costs 5. And so with that, I'm just going to shuffle up my deck, shuffle up my opponent's deck, and then we're just going to get into it. It's, like I said, a relatively simple deck building game. Good starter deck building game, and fairly fun, fairly quick. If you cut down the number of arch enemies a little bit, you can have a quicker game. And like I said, my variant is I do not put these arch enemies once you defeat them into your deck. I put them aside to count them as points later, because I find it unbalances the game too much. If somebody gets 2 or 3 of those arch enemies in their deck and the other player doesn't, it's almost no point continuing to play. So yeah, the game, in my mind, is kind of a little broken, but it's still a fun, quick little game. And I'll be doing a playthrough completely here to show you how it works. So let me shuffle up the decks and we'll get going. Alright, so I've shuffled up both decks and I've drawn 5 cards for each player. So we're going to start here as Pippin, and we draw 5 cards, which I've already done. And the 5 cards that we drew were Despair, a Courage card, another Despair, a Courage, and a Courage. And so very quickly you can see we have 3 power. So with 3 power, we could buy the Moria Orcs. We can't buy a 6, 4, 7, or 5, or we could buy a Valor. And I think we're just going to go ahead, we're going to buy the Moria Orcs, and that's going to go on our discard pile. I'm going to put the discard piles to the left of the character, and of course all of this will be discarded. So boom, very quickly, that's what happens. Over to King Theoden. He's got 5 cards, he's got a... he also has 3 power, 2 Despairs and 3 Curse, so he's got 3 power. Oh, and sorry, after that has been taken, we need to replace it. Oh, and he will be ambushed. That's part of how the game works. If you draw an enemy at the start of your turn, which is what we're happening with King Theoden right now, the ambush effect is going to take effect. So ambush, reveal your hand and discard each revealed arch enemy. Well, guess what? Nobody has any arch enemies, and I don't put them in the deck anyway. So really, that ambush effect didn't do anything to Theoden. So sorry for skipping that, but yes, he's got 3 power. It's a 6, a 4, a 7, and a 5, so that's not going to do him any good. So with his 3 power, he's just going to buy a Valor, which will later on give him 2 power. And that goes into his discard pile. So I'll put his over there, and then of course we draw our next 5 cards, and now we get our special card. So we get a Courage, Despair, Courage, Curse, so we have 3 power, plus 1 power, and it says reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a 0, we'll get plus 1 more power. So of course I have to shuffle my discards now and make another draw deck, which I have just done. So we're going to reveal the top card, and if it's a 0, which it is, then this card is worth plus 1 power. So now we're going to have 2 power, 3, 4, we have 5 power now in total. So that's pretty cool. So with 5 power, I think we're going to go right ahead and we're going to get Elendil. And of course, and I didn't even mention, but in this game we have allies are green, enemies are red, artifacts blue, locations purple, and maneuvers are brown. So that's the different types of cards. So this is a really good one for us to buy. Plus 3 power. Wow, awesome. We're going to discard it. All right, over to Theoden again. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's got 5 cards, of course, and he gets his card this time. So he has a Despair card, and he has 1, 2, 3 power. So plus 1 power. Corruption and Despair cards you play or have played this turn have plus 1 power. So this Despair card, because he's going to play this one, it's going to be worth a power. So he's going to have 1, 2, 3, 4. He has 5 power as well. And I did it again. I forgot to replace this card at the start of his turn. But it is not an enemy. It is my captain, my king card, plus 1 power. Choose another player. You and that player may each destroy a card in your hand or discard pile. Well, doesn't really do him any good. So for 5 power, I think he's going to get the Seeing Stones. Draw 2 cards and put a card from your hand on top of your deck. So that's a pretty cool card. So he discards that, and I'm going to have to shuffle his deck in a minute. Now it's my turn, so yes, we're going to draw a card. It is not an enemy. An ally, plus 2 power. If you play or played another ally this turn, you may destroy a card in your hand or discard pile. So cool. So you can start getting rid of your Despair cards and such. So there we go. I don't think I have 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, I do. 5 cards. So my turn. I have Courage. I have Moria Orcs. Despair, Despair, and Courage. And you can see how quickly this game will play. So if you played Warrior Orcs, get +4 power, otherwise it's +1 power. So basically I have 1, 2, I have 3 power right now. And do I want to... I think I'm just going to buy a Valor card. This gives me 2 power later on. Boom. Discard. And I only have 1 card left. I'm going to shut the camera off here because I'm going to do a bunch of shuffling here. I'm also going to shuffle up my deck because I have to draw 5 and I only have 1. So I will be back shortly with the shuffling, and then it's going to be Theoden's turn. Okay, everything's shuffled up, everything's done. So 5 more cards for Theoden as we continue on this playthrough. Despair, Seeing Stones, Courage. Wow, cool. So Despair cards are going to be worth +1. So I would have 1, 2 power. The Seeing Stone, draw a card, or draw 2 cards, put one on top of your hand and the other, or put one in your hand, the other on the top of your deck. So we get to draw 2 cards, and they're both Courage. So we're going to keep a Courage and put a Courage back. I was hoping to grab a Despair because then we could have used it for +1 power. So taking a look at this hand, this is not worth any power at all. It just allows you to draw the 2 cards. So we're going to get +1 power, 2, 3, 4, 5 power total. 2 for the Despair, 1 for this card, 2 for the Courage. Yes, so 5 power total. 5 power total. I think he's going to go ahead and he's going to buy Frodo, which is a +2 power. If you play or have played another ally this turn, you may destroy a card in your hand or discard pile. So we're going to take that. Well, that's going to go in Theoden's discard pile. Start of my turn now. We're going to draw a card. And it's Frodo again. There's multiples. Yes, multiple cards in the deck. And we can each have them. All right, over to my hand. I've drawn 5 cards all shuffled and drawn. So I got my special card again. +1, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a 0, this is going to be worth 2 power instead of 1. It is a 0. Excellent. So 2, 3... Well, I have 4 power, so I may as well buy a Frodo as well for 4 power. And there we go. Continuing on. Over to Theoden. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards. And I've got to say, too, the card quality of this game is exceptionally good. These cards are a little bit slippery, but they're really good quality. They're not prone to bending or warping. I'm really happy with the quality. You can see I haven't sleeved any of this particular game because the card quality is so good. All right, carrying on. He has 1, 2, 3, 4 power Courage cards, and I forgot to draw a card. Start of his turn. Let's hope it's an enemy so he gets ambushed. It's not. He gets a Fortune card, which I forgot to mention too. When you buy or gain this card immediately, then destroy it. Put a card from your discard pile into your hand. So, yes, it's cost 0. So this is going to be discarded. And he gets to put a card from his discard pile into his hand. And what does he want to put? I think he's going to go ahead and put Frodo in his hand. I mean, why not? Why not? It's a good thing for him to do. So that was a good little boon that he got there. So now he has Frodo's worth 2, 3, 4, 5. So now he has 6 power. Awesome. With 6 power, does he want to get Boromir, or does he want to have... I think he's going to go ahead and take Boromir. Boromir is a +4 power card. Costs 6. He can buy it. That is excellent. So that was a great turn for Theoden. My turn now, of course, we have to reveal 2 cards, so the likelihood of getting ambushed. Ooh, another boon. I get a boon this time. And 2 boons in a row. Hey, I did shuffle this. I swear to God, I shuffled these things like crazy. So that's just really odd draw. But it's up to me now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was really strange, but hey, that's the way it is. Courage. Elendil. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 power as well, but I get a couple of boons. When you buy or gain this card, play it immediately, then destroy it. +3 power this turn. So, wow. Gives me 3 power. And what in the heck is this one? When you buy or play this card, and then you destroy it, draw 2 cards. So this allows me to draw 2 cards. Holy moly. So, Moria Orcs. Now I got to figure out all my power because I think I have a heck of a lot of it. So I get 3 for the 1 boon, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 power this turn. 11. So, in fact, I'm going to defeat the Nazgul for 8. I still have 3 power left, so I'm going to tuck that underneath my character here, because I'm going to count it as points later, but I'm not shuffling it in. And with 3 left, I think... do I want this one? No, I don't think I'm going to bother. I'm going to get another Valor, so that's going to be 11. That's going to... Wow, that was a good turn for me. So what happens now is the turn, of course, is going to go over to Theod. I'm going to have to shuffle everything. And then we're going to reveal the next arch enemy. And we're going to fill up this. And I think we do the path first. So let me shuffle everything up to get the 5 cards drawn for both of us. It's going to be Theoden's turn. But we both have to take the ambush of the next arch enemy, but he will have to take the ambush of this. I think we do the arch enemy first. Let me just reshuffle everything and we'll get All right, so up next, we're going to reveal the next arch enemy. The next arch enemy is the Cave Troll. All right. And it has a group ambush, which means both of us are going to be hit with it. Each player reveals a random card from his or her hand. Destroy each revealed card that shares a cost with another revealed card. Okay, that's not so bad. It's not so bad, and it's randomly. So I've shuffled and drawn 5, so we're just going to flip the top card off of each of our hands and see if they are the same. So Theoden's card is cost 0. Oh, it's his special card, and mine is a 0. Destroy each revealed card that shares a cost with another. So he's going to lose his special card. Wow. And I end up losing a despair. Huh. Talk about very good for me. And now it is going to be the next couple of cards that come up. That was close. +1 power. It's a defense card. Oh yes, you can defend against ambushes. With defense cards, which I also didn't mention, but now you know that. You may discard this card to avoid attack or ambush. Choose another player that foe may also avoid the attack and ambush. Draw a card for each player who avoided the attack or ambush. Okay, so that was that one. And next in the path, we get Rivendell. Okay, of course, locations go out in front of you. Ongoing for each ally you play +1 power. Whoa, that's pretty cool. So now we have Lothlorien and Rivendell both out. But it is Theoden's turn. And so he has Valor, he has Frodo, and so Frodo, of course, is if you play another ally, which he's not. So he's going to have 2, 3, 4. He has 6 power. That's pretty good stuff. 6 power, and you know what? He got beat down pretty good, so he's going to take the Black Riders. And it's a +3 power card, and it has an attack. So when he plays this, it will attack me, and each other player discards a random card. It's worth 2 points, so that's a pretty good card for him to snag. All right, over to me. And of course, I only have 4 cards left because I lost the one to spare. So I have Valor. I have 2 Valors and a Courage. So that's going to be 5 power, but we have to draw a card at the start of my turn. And put it out, you fools. Okay, destroy a card in your hand or discard pile. And it's a defense. You may discard this card to avoid attack or ambush. Cool, so some defense cards are coming out. 2 of them. And sorry, once again, I have 2, 4, I have 5 power. So I could get a defense card, or I could get Rivendell. I think I'm going to go ahead and buy Rivendell for 5, because it would be an ongoing effect, meaning I would get +1 power for every ally I play. And 2, 4, 5 power. Yeah, so I'm going to get Rivendell. It's pretty awesome. So that goes into my discard. Up, of course, next is Theoden. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I think we're going to leave it off when we have to reshuffle once again, and I think that's going to be coming up after this turn. So Theoden has Courage, Seeing Stones, Boromir. Ooh, wow, he's got a good hand. But of course he's going to play this one first, which is draw 2 cards from your deck, put 1 back on top of your deck and 1 into your hand. So he gets Despair, and he gets Despair. Well, I guess he's going to keep a Despair and put 1 back on top of his deck. And of course that one doesn't give him any power. So his total power is 1, 5, 6 power. 6 power is pretty good, and I forgot to draw... Oh no. Yeah, I did. I forgot to draw the card, didn't I? Yeah, because I bought Rivendell. So before that happens... Oh man, I hate screwing this up. He gets actually ambushed. Well, he has to choose and discard a card. And he would have had to do that before he played his stuff. So he actually had to despair. He had a despair in his hand. So he's going to discard the despair. So no harm, no foul there, but I did it out of order again. Sorry about that. So now to recap again, he has 4, 5, 6 power. He has 6 power. And I do believe he's going to take the Uruk-hai Grunt. It's going to cost him 3. And he's going to take Put It Out You Fools for another 3. So that's 6. So again, another pretty darn good turn for him. Now it's my turn, and we have to reveal cards. We don't get an ambush. +2 power. Choose a player. Each player other than the chosen one draws a card. Okay, so that's +2. And yeah, the gameplay is, I think, a little bit better with 3, 4, or 5 players. And I get attacked by an Uruk-hai Grunt. Choose and discard a card. Darn it. So let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have to choose and discard a card. And I'm going to choose discard or despair to discard. And this is going to be the last it's going to be the last turn here, because we're both going to have to shuffle up for a new draw of cards. So I have Elendil, so 3, 4 power. I have this one, and I have... Ooh, cool. All right. Things are starting to combo a little bit here now. So if I play Elendil, that's... well, first of all, let's start off with this card, because we'll do it in order. +1 power. Reveal the top card of the deck. If it's a 0, I get +1 power. It's a 0. So this card is worth 2 power. Then I'm going to play Elendil. That's 5 power. 5, 6, 7 power. If you play or have played another ally this turn, you may destroy a card in your hand or discard pile. I'm going to destroy the despair card in my discard pile. So once again, that's 2, 5, that's 6, 7. I have 8 power. I'm 1 short from knocking down the cave troll. But 8 power is nothing to sniff at. That is pretty darn good. I could go ahead and get Lothlorien. I think I'm going to get Lothlorien. That allows me to draw 6 cards at the end of every one of my turns instead of 5. That's really powerful. Off it goes into my discard pile. And I think, he has 3. I think we're going to go ahead, just so I don't get myself too messed up in order-wise. I'm going to shuffle Theoden's deck here. I'm going to have him do one more turn, just so we can keep things kind of in order. So he's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards. So that's going to be what he's drawing. We have to reveal a card. It's an enemy, and it has an ambush. Choose, oh man, choose and discard 2 cards. Wow, that is painful. So he got hammered by the Uruk-hai Scout. He has to choose and discard 2 cards. Well, he'll discard a Despair and he'll discard a Courage. That hit him pretty hard. And that's going to leave him 2, 3, 4 power. That's a really cheap card for 2. He has 4 power, eh? For 4, I think he's going to go ahead and buy this other Uruk-hai Grunt for 3, cost of 3. And we're going to put that in his discard pile. Of course, I'm going to have to shuffle up and everything, but I'll be starting on the beginning of the next episode. So very quickly here, we're going through Lord of the Rings, the deck building game from Cryptozoic Games. This came out, I think it was 2012, so quite a while ago. Very quick, sort of lightish deck builder game with some pretty cool cards that come out. And you know what? I think we're just going to reveal this card and see if it's an ambush. Please don't be an ambush. It's not. It's Council of Elrond. So I don't have to worry about it at the beginning of next episode coming out and ambushing me. And so that's it. So thanks so much for watching along. Thanks for liking my videos if you do, and subscribing to my channel. I have lots of playthroughs. I really do appreciate it. So this is Lord of the Rings, the deck building game. This is the Fellowship of the Ring. Like I said, there are 3 sets of this from Cryptozoic. And I hope you're enjoying it. I will probably have another 2 or 3 or 4 episodes of this before we get to the end. Then we're going to add up our points, see who wins. So thanks again so much for watching along. Join me next time for the continuation of Lord of the Rings, the deck building game, the Fellowship of the Ring.